Hi, we're back again with Terry Manrique. I want to tell you what, this has been a fascinating discussion so far. And Terry, I have a question for you.
Sure.
You know, how do you relate to the challenges that parents are going through? That's question number one. And the second one are you available like to do this in schools as well? So family situation and then school situation.
Yeah. The way I relate is because, I have been a teacher. I've been in the early education system for an industry for over 20 years. So as a teacher, I see the struggles parents are having. I see what their child's like when they're in my classroom, and then I see what the child's like when the parent comes and picks up. And then the same thing as a director. Our life right now, there's so many demands, and so much stress in our life, that if I can help relieve some of that in the home and change that so that you don't end up there, boy, if I have one family.
Just know that you have options.
If I helped one family, that's everything to me. And as far as, I have schools hiring
Before
me.
we go to schools,
Sure.
you made me think of something
Sure.
else. Single parent challenges versus dual parent challenges in terms of rules and the things that we talked about before.
Even more so. It's extremely important for single parents to even be more consistent and to have rules, because your children only has one person to count on. Your child has only you to depend on. Mm-hmm. And if you are not there to be dependable and you're not consistent, then who is your child going to turn to? It's important even more so. I had a family who hired me, and it's a very sad story. It was a mom who was pregnant. She was 9 months pregnant, and she had a 4-year-old son, and her husband passed away 2 days before giving birth.
Oh, my Lord.
And so her son now was, going through those changes. Now he not only lost his father, now he has a new sibling in the household, and now you're down to a single parent. And, that is a lot of change for a child or for any family, alone to go through.
Sure.
And unfortunately what happened is the child, after the grieving process, after a couple months later, it was 8 months I would say later, that the child was now using that to his benefit. Now he was using that as a manipulation, not because he's bad, not because it's just because he knew that's what was working for him. So he knew that if he was misbehaving at school, he would come home and say, oh, but it's because Daddy's gone, Daddy's not here, so that they would indulge him, and even more so. So he started to develop the victim role. Now he's a victim.
Right.
Well, that's not what you want. You don't want to teach your children when you go through crises, when you go through financial struggles, that you're the victim. You don't want to teach them that. You want to teach them that even more so now. We are going to develop some of these routines. Even more so, I'm going to be consistent with you, because now he was using that to his aid. And
So
you
how
have
did
to
you help
allow
with that?
them to go through their grief. But then eventually you have to sit down and really be realistic and talk. At this point, he was 5 years old, so now he was able to understand more and say, I understand, but these are choices you are making. And you have two choices to make. You either make the right choice or the wrong choice. And the wrong choice is going to have a consequence. And now we have to start implementing consequence. Because before there was no consequence, because they felt guilty. They felt, of course, your heart pours out to them, and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. And the only thing you know to do is to give them love and to kind of ignore the behaviors that are happening. But you're not teaching him how to